How's it going, everyone? It's Seven here, back with episode 4 on our Island Guide series for My Singing Monsters. Last video, we talked about Ethereal Island. In this video, we'll be talking about the next step in our ethereal journey, Ethereal Workshop. Ethereal Workshop is the island to go to for Triple-Element Ethereals, Quad-Element Ethereals, and the one and only Quint-Element Ethereal. This island unlocks at level 19, which is a somewhat high level, but if you need more levels for this, I would recommend checking out my video on grinding experience. When you launch the island for the first time, you should already have a Meebkin egg waiting for you to hatch. You can go ahead and hatch the egg and place the monster, and we'll get cracking on some other eggs shortly. Ethereal Workshop is a very interesting island, and it is unlike any other island we've seen before. This island has some little critters called Meebs. Meebs are the little dudes you're gonna need to get some monsters on this island. On this island, there are two structures, the Attunement Structure and the Synthesizer. You have to work with the Meebs in the Attunement Structure and attune them to the elements you need. You'll see a little wheel of islands with the following elements attached to them: Plasma, Shadow, Mech, Crystal, and Poison. You need to pick one of the elements you need for the monster you're trying to get, and wait out the required time for attuning. Every wait time is different when it comes to attuning a Meeb, and it changes daily. The Wheel of Islands will shift clockwise at 10 AM CST or 9 AM CST during daylight savings time. The shortest wait time for attuning Meeb is 5 hours, while a 10-hour wait time stands right in the middle, and the longest wait time is 20 hours. The other structure, the Synthesizer, is where you construct your Triple-Element Ethereals, Quad-Element Ethereals, and the Quint-Element Ethereal from your attuned Meebs. You're sort of creating these Ethereals from scratch. We'll use the Ureek as an example here. If you want to get the Ureek, you need to attune one Meeb to the Plasma element, attune one Meeb to the Shadow element, and attune one Meeb to the Mech element, all in the attunement structure. After you get all of those Meebs attuned, you need to line them all up in the Synthesizer and press confirm. If you're lucky, you'll get the monster first try. Sometimes, however, it fails. When it fails, you'll get a random amount of different types of Meebs back. To prevent failure, you can upgrade the Synthesizer to make it more stable. You can decide how stable a combination is by looking at this little gauge on the Synthesizer here. If it's around the green, it's very likely it'll work just fine. If it's leaning more towards the red though, it's more unlikely you'll succeed. You can also upgrade the castle not only for more beds, but for getting more Meebs too. You can't really upgrade it too much, but you should upgrade it as much as you can since it's pretty cheap. It doesn't take a lot of shards, but if you happen to need some anyway, you can feel free to check out my video on shard grinding. So now that we've gone through all of the structures, let's go ahead and talk about all of the monsters, starting with the triple elements. The Ureek, which of course I mentioned before, is obtained by synthesizing the Plasma, Shadow, and Mech Meebs together, and it'll give you a 1 day and 6 hour wait if you've succeeded. Every triple-element ethereal will give you that same wait time upon a successful attempt, and every single triple-element ethereal will also give you a 10-hour-long wait for a failure. The Meebkin, which was the monster that came with the island, can also be synthesized from the Plasma, Shadow, and Crystal Meebs. The Blairet is obtained by synthesizing the Plasma, Shadow, and Poison Meebs. The Gadzooks is made from the Plasma, Mech, and Crystal Meebs. The Ogler is obtained from the Plasma, Mech, and Poison Meebs. The Flask is made from the Plasma, Crystal, and Poison Meebs. The Nightbear can be made from the Shadow, Mech, and Crystal Meebs. The Piplash is made from the Shadow, Mech, and Poison Meebs. The Zert is obtained from the Shadow, Crystal, and Poison Meebs. And the Teeter-Totter can be made from the Mech, Crystal, and Poison Meebs. Quadruple-element ethereals are a little more complicated though. To get quadruple-element ethereals, the layout in the Synthesizer is a little different. For these, you'll need to use more Meebs and you'll have to sacrifice a triple-element ethereal. These ethereals are also much harder to get than triple-element ethereals, so be prepared for some failure. The way you synthesize a quadruple-element ethereal is by lining up a triple-element ethereal and Meeb together. You'll also need multiple Meebs to attempt to synthesize the quad-element ethereal. If you fail, you get some random Meebs back and you keep your triple-element ethereal. If you do happen to succeed though, you get the monster, you of course lose all your Meebs, and you sacrifice the triple-element ethereal you had lined up, which means you'll need to grab yourself another one. So now, let's go through all of the quad-element ethereals. The first quad-element ethereal we'll be talking about is the Whaill. This ethereal is made up of the Plasma, Shadow, Mech, and Crystal Meebs. The ways you can make these monsters can vary. You can do a lot of different combinations for these depending on what triple-element monster you choose to sacrifice, but I'll give you this little nugget of knowledge. You only need 2 Meebs per element for the triple-element monster side of the equation, but you'll need to grab 3 Meebs for the lone element sitting there. Now I would recommend sacrificing the Ureek and using the Crystal Meeb to fill in the blank. The Urique is very easy to regain when you need to get it back, so that's how I got the Whaill. You would need 2 Plasma Meebs, 2 Shadow Meebs, 2 Mech Meebs, and 3 Crystal Meebs to make the monster. If you're successful, you'll be met with a day and 18-hour wait. If you fail, however, it'll be a 17-hour wait. Every Quad-Element Ethereal will have these same wait times. The Vhenshun is the second Quad-Element Ethereal you can get, and it is composed of the Plasma, Shadow, Mech, and Poison elements. I believe the optimal combination for this monster would be combining the Urique with the Poison element. You would need 2 Plasma Meebs, 2 Shadow Meebs, 2 Mech Meebs, and 3 Poison Meebs if you were to use this combination. The Pentumbra is the third Quad-Element Ethereal we'll be talking about, and it can be obtained from the Plasma, Shadow, Crystal, and Poison Meebs. I would recommend combining the Meebkin with the Poison element, and you would need 2 Plasma Meebs, 2 Shadow Meebs, 2 Crystal Meebs, and 3 Poison Meebs to use that combination. You can also grab the Rhysmuth by combining the Plasma, Mech, Crystal, and Poison elements. I believe the optimal combo for this monster would be sacrificing the Gadzooks and using the Poison Meeb to fill in the remaining slot. This combination would require 2 Plasma Meebs, 2 Mech Meebs, 2 Crystal Meebs, and 3 Poison Meebs to synthesize. The final Quad-Element Ethereal you can get is the Oogiddy, which is composed of the Shadow, Mech, Crystal, and Poison elements. I believe the best combo for this would be sacrificing the Nightbear and filling in the final spot with the Poison Meeb. This would require 2 Shadow Meebs, 2 Mech Meebs, 2 Crystal Meebs, and 3 Poison Meebs. Finally, we'll get on to the Quint-Element Ethereal. This monster is called the BeMeebEth, and it's of course composed of every ethereal element there is. The Plasma, Shadow, Mech, Crystal, and Poison elements. This will be the most challenging ethereal monster to obtain by far. To obtain this monster, you'll need to sacrifice a Quad-Element Ethereal and fill in the remaining spot with the element you'll use to build onto the Quad-Element. The Quad-Element Ethereal will need 3 Meebs per element, and the Lone Element will need 4 Meebs. I would advise sacrificing the Whaill and using the Poison element to fill in the remaining spot. This will require 3 Plasma Meebs, 3 Shadow Meebs, 3 Mech Meebs, 3 Crystal Meebs, and 4 Poison Meebs. The chances for getting this monster are substantially low, but if you do somehow manage to get it, you'll be blessed with a 2-day and 7-hour wait. If you're one of the many people that gets hit with a 23-hour wait though, you have failed. Thankfully, you can keep your Quad-Element Ethereal in this case, but you need to try again for the Quint-Element Ethereal. Once you finally do get that BeMeebEth though, the Synthesizer will be put on a 2-day wait since it takes so much out of the machine. But hey, you got a Quint-Element monster, so that's a small price to pay for such a fantastic achievement. And on top of that, you'll be rewarded 100 diamonds for managing to get it. So you have the full song, but what do you even do after that? Come on, you know what we do whenever we complete an island. We farm it! This island definitely isn't the best island for shard farming, but we don't really have anything better to do with it, and after all, profit is profit. The best monster to spam on this island is going to be the Teeter-Totter. It's the most efficient ethereal on beds, and that's all we really have to worry about for this island since we don't have enough beds to worry about being efficient on grid squares. It brings in 21.33 shards per bed at level 10, which is superior to all of the other monsters on the island. To satisfy your curiosity though, here's the full shard per bed chart of all of the Ethereal Workshop monsters at level 10. That's really about all there is for this island though. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to shoot them into the comments and I'll help you to the best of my ability. If this video helped, please do leave a like as we're trying to help as many people as we can here, and liking can get this video pushed out to even more people. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you as a part of the channel, and I'll be pumping out many more videos like this just for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we'll see you in the next video. For now though, goodbye!